What is up? Welcome to Duct Tape Dynasty. It is divisional playoffs weekend. Excited you're here. Excited to be here. I tell you what, got all sorts of things going on. It looks like I think this is going to be our first official podcast with the first official format. I think I figured out the format we're going to use. I think I like where we're at, so I'd like your feedback. Let me know what you think about the screens as we go through them and the animations as I have them and whatnot. But anyway, it's good to be here. I hope everybody had a good week. I know I did. It was at least an interesting week. Now, if we want to talk about last weekend, I did not have the best of weekends. And I think it's obvious why. I'm still wearing the hat. The Justin Herbert jersey did not make it on before the start of the show. It was a bit of a rush to get out here, but here we are nonetheless. Excited to be here. Excited to have you here. Anyway, yeah, so the Chargers, boy, they blew it, didn't they? So, actually, the news department, we have a news department here at Duct Tape Dynasty, and they have notified me that they have headlines prepared for, it's called Headlines I Care About, I guess. And so they told me to take a look at this to get us started. So let's check it out. Let's check out the first ever Headlines I Care About here on Duct Tape Dynasty. So what do we have to say? What's it say up there? Headlines I Care About. Oh, Charter discovered long lost memo. Shocked to learn games extended to 60 minutes. Well, it's obvious, right? I mean, they obviously didn't know what the heck was going on last weekend, man. We got 30. What did Brandon Staley say? Well, nonetheless, he's excited for next year, I guess. So this sure is exciting news for next season, though, isn't it? Yeah, so Brandon Staley now knows that they play 60 minutes of football instead of 30. Was one heck of a fun game to watch for the first half. But the Chargers game became a nightmare rather quickly, and that was the second half. It was all Jags. Enough said there. You know, as much as I want to blame Brandon Staley, and I hate to admit it, okay? I hate to admit this, but I'm gonna. Brandon Staley, for all his faults and his inability to understand statistical football, which I've harped on all year long, and for all of his shortfalls, he does appear to be learning. You know, I wanted that game, if they were going to lose that game, especially after being up by, 27 points at half, if they were going to lose that game, I was hoping it was going to be on a Brandon Staley, keeps going forward on 4th and 1 and can't convert type thing. So I was kind of on the bandwagon of, if we're going to lose, that's how we should lose. So at least we get rid of Brandon Staley. However, I will say the second half of the season, he lightened up quite a bit on his 4th down conversion attempts. And it, I believe, is the reason that they actually made it to the playoffs. Now, did they get there convincingly? Not necessarily, but they got there nonetheless. It was something they fell short of last year, and they fell short of it because of Brandon Staley and his 4th down idiocy, because he didn't understand statistical football, which gave me the taste in my mouth that I had for the beginning of the season. Anyway, all that to say, Brandon Staley, at least as of today, is still the Chargers head coach, and he appears to be learning. Is he a coach that could win them a Super Bowl right now? I don't know. Given the performance last week, no. But Could he develop to be a coach that could win them a Super Bowl? Possibly, because I did see quite a bit of growth. Anyway, I don't want to give him too much praises. I mean, we got basically one game farther this year. Now, I can't remember what our record was last year. I know we didn't make the playoffs, but by saying one game farther, I don't just mean the fact that they had a 17-game season. I mean the fact that we actually got a playoff game this year, whereas last year we did not. So, okay, we got one extra game out of them this year. Next year, can we get two? I think with Staley, we could definitely get two, and maybe make a play for the championship, not the Super Bowl yet. I'm not claiming that, but anyway, they got the roster to do it. They've got the talent to do it. They're able to pay them right now. Everybody appears to be pretty happy in what should be San Diego, but is Los Angeles. And anyway, I'm optimistic. I'm still optimistic for the Chargers, despite the fact that we didn't get too much farther and that Brandon Staley remains the head coach. Nonetheless, let me move on to let's check out the results of last week. We had actually something somewhat surprising happen, and I kind of called it. I kind of said this might happen, and that is that you see the Week 18 results there. That's just for historical purposes. What wild card weekend there you see it. Wally 5-1. Wally takes the wild card weekend. So now Wally officially gets a week win. We got to coin a phrase for that. A Wally weekly win. Anyway, but I'm going to put an asterisk next to it. You knew I was going to. I told you I was going to, because if you get a weekly win in the playoffs, I'm not going to count it because it's just a few games instead of, the 14 games or however many are typically played on any given week. So congratulations, Wally. But look, there's your asterisk right there. And yes, I put it on there for you. Nonetheless, congratulations. The rest of us tied at 4-2, had an okay week. And there you see the totals for us. Of course, yours truly leading, but I am tied with Andrew. And then Dave at 24-12. Wally has come back now to tie for what is second place. Or I guess by the way they do golf, the golf scores or whatever, you'd be tied for third there, but whatever. Anyway, quite a comeback given that Week 18 performance. As you see, Wally there 8-7. So the fact that he's now tied for what is second, and what, you guys are just a game or two back. Let's see, here it comes. 25-11 versus 24-12, right? So we're just a game off of each other. I mean, everybody's got a chance here, boys. Everybody's got a chance. The problem is, I don't know if we're all going to pick any teams differently than each other, because from here on out, it seems straightforward. Although I will say one of the games that seems like it's an automatic thing this weekend may not be so automatic. And, I guess that's kind of true for any game. Especially in the playoffs. But nonetheless, okay, let's go over the scores there. So you see the Chargers 30, Jacksonville 31. That was abysmal. That was pathetic. I can't believe it. The only comeback that was worse than that or better than that, depending upon what side of the ball you were on, was the Vikings, right? I think the Vikings comeback is the only one better than that against the Colts, was it? Who was that against, Wally? I see you out there in the chat. Can you comment yet? I'm not sure if you can. But if you can, put it in there. The Vikings have the biggest comeback in NFL history. And now I think the Jacksonville Jaguars have the second biggest comeback or something like that. Anyway, so then you see Seattle got stomped by San Francisco. Old Brock Purdy out there, the Mr. Irrelevant, is proving his relevance, and I'm here for it. I love it. I hope he keeps going. So it was versus the Colts. Thank you, Wally. Yeah, that was, being that for anyone out there that may view this later, Wally is up in Montana. He is my father-in-law, a fine human being. and he is a huge Vikings fan, as are quite a few folks up there in the northwest, because of the fact that Montana doesn't have a professional team. So Vikings are a closet favorite of mine. I mean, not the favorite. The Chargers, obviously, the favorite, but nonetheless, Vikings. So with that game versus the Colts, in our eyes, it was awesome. If you were a Colts fan, it was abysmal. If you were Jeff Saturday, it was the nail in the coffin of your NFL coaching career. I don't know if old Jeff. I know Jeff got to at least interview for the Colts head coaching position after being the interim head coach, which I still love the move by Jim Irsay. I think it's great. But I'm not sure Jeff really has high hopes coming out of that meeting. That being said, if Jeff Saturday is the Colts coach next year, I'm all for it. I love it. I put him up there with the Dan Campbell as far as the dudes I'm rooting for, right? Like, Jeff Saturday is a dude. I love Jeff Saturday. So I'm here for it. I hope they do hire him, or fire. Sounded like I said fire, meant hire. Which, by the way, Jim Irsay making big news in that Josh McDaniels, I can't remember which McDaniels it is. One of the McDaniels is former head coach of the Raiders, was interviewing for the Colts job, and apparently Jim Irsay was at his house acting, according to McDaniels' wife, rather odd. And anyway, she shut it down. She said, no, we don't want to be the head coach there anymore. There's lots of fun rumors floating around as to what Jim Irsay was doing, but there was reference to his conduct in the bathroom for an oddly long time. Like, that was actually one of the things that happened. Anyway, whatever. Jim Irsay is awesome. I love the dude. I love the Colts. You all know I'm a McAfee fan, so closet Colts fan by association, I guess. Anyway, so there we were. Wow, that was a tangent, wasn't it? We're talking about the playoffs, and then I got onto the Colts. That's almost as far away from the playoffs as you could get this year. So San Francisco absolutely killed Seattle. There you see it. The Buffalo Bills, did not handle Miami as solidly as I thought they would. Nonetheless, they get the job done. And then we see the Cincy score there. They beat Baltimore by 7. There was some controversy, whatever. We all thought that they were going to win. Baltimore still needs to pay Lamar. Just give the man his money. The only question is, I don't know that the owner has enough money, because now what they have to do, if they put one of those big giant contracts out there, the money was getting to be almost goofy numbers, like fake numbers, it seemed like. And so now the NFL has the policy where for like that Deshaun Watson contract, $240 million guaranteed, the owner of the Browns actually had to put $240 million. He had to write a check to an escrow account for $240 million. Basically, the NFL is told the owners, look, you got to prove that you're good for the money. And so that's the new way they do business out there. So Lamar, as big a bag of money as he is deserving, I don't know if the owner will be able to, cut a check that big to escrow and just let it sit there, which has got to be such a great feeling. Even for a billionaire, let me just cut a check for $240 million and just put it over there and get absolutely nothing for it. Granted, I know it's paying for a player, all the contract, all that. But, just cutting a check and putting it over here on the side, like a wad of cash, that's insane. I can't imagine that. Oh, good golly. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. Let's move on, shall we? So there's my cool results scroll. I hope you guys like it. As I said, this is the first reveal of our new format. And, I'm kind of proud of it. I worked on it pretty hard. So, I kind of dig all the things that are going on. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put them out there. So let's get to our games of the week, shall we? Let's just move right into it. Not many games left. It seems fairly straightforward who's winning where, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not so sure. Not on all these. So the first one, now this one I do think is probably the most straightforward of the bunch. And that is Kansas City, Jacksonville, which is on Saturday. Jacksonville, the Cinderella story. Now, granted, they did beat my Chargers, but I do like the Trevor Lawrence story. I do like the Doug Peterson story and the whole blah, 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 whatever. I love the fact that after beating the Chargers in that huge comeback win, that Trevor Lawrence, this, future billionaire, goes to Waffle House, to get a $3 waffle. I mean, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So good for him. And I like to see, him doing well, especially since he got so screwed over with the Urban Meyer head coaching debacle there in Duval, Florida last year. So, yeah. Good to see Trevor Lawrence doing well. Doug Peterson, rock on, brother. But I think it is absolutely going to be Kansas City all day long. Now, the line on it, as of right now, according to the app that I'm looking at, which is Scores or something. I can't remember the name of the app. Anyway, it has, according to the line, it has Kansas City minus 9.5. So do I think they'll go by 9.5? Yeah, I think. Now, I know we're not placing our bets or our picks based on the line, but even with that line, I would still pick Kansas City. I think Kansas City will beat Jacksonville by probably 14 or more. So, yeah, I'm picking Kansas City. Stand by. Got to get a drink. By the way, stuff is called Liquid Death. All right, let's see. This is difficult. And it looks like I'm boozing over here. It's actually water. You see that? It says Mountain Water. Yeah. Anyway, water in a can. It's good. All right. So sorry about that. Kansas City, Jacksonville. I pick Kansas City. I think you got to be a fool to pick anybody but Kansas City. Both Dave and Andrew also pick Kansas City. So Wally, yeah, who you gonna pick out there, brother? I'm gonna be absolutely dumbfounded if it's not Kansas City, because if there's a game that I would go against the grain on, this would not be it. So let me know in the comments there, Walbert, what you think. But my guess is you're going to go with Kansas City as well. So that is that. The second game on Saturday will be the Giants in Philly. Now, this is, I mean, is this crazy or what? I mean, you still got 3 of the 4 teams from the, and I'm so bad at divisions. What are the stinking divisions? What division are they? They're the NFC West, is it? East. The NFC East. 3 out of the 4 of the NFC East teams are still in the playoffs. There's only 8 teams left of the 32. And 3/4 of that division of the NFC East is still in the playoffs. That's awesome. But, and the funny thing is, at the beginning of the season, as we were picking, divisions and who's going to do what, the NFC East was once again somewhat written off, I believe, as kind of like that's the, the 8-8 Cowboys and the, 3 and whatever Commanders, which, dear God, when they sell that team, please please, not that you'll ever see this, but please change the freaking name. The Commanders is the dumbest name out there. Anyway, please call yourself the Pigs. I mean, that would be better. And that's a terrible name, but whatever. I'd love to hear what you think there, Wally, on what their name should be. Like, literally, you could write down almost any word except Commanders, and it would be better. So, anyway, so yeah, as I thought, and hey, if Jacksonville beats Kansas City, look, that's their Super Bowl right there. Like, holy cow. You know, Trevor Lawrence will forever be able to say that he went out and beat Patrick Mahomes, you know, in his prime. I don't see it happening. Yes, Kansas City all the way. So New York, Philly. My gosh, I am on tangents tonight. So New York, Philly. Philly has been absolutely on a roll. And they are the team to beat, right? But that, when we get to the playoffs, right? I mean, like, the team to beat, like, okay. A few years ago, the team to beat, right? It was a foregone conclusion. It was the year after the Chiefs had just won the Super Bowl, and it was guaranteed that the Chiefs were going to win it again, right? The Chiefs were going to win it again. There's no chance. Nobody can beat them. You know, they might go perfect, whatever. Oh, they don't go perfect. Oh, they end up in the Super Bowl. Of course, they're going to beat Tom Brady. They're unstoppable. Everybody saw it coming. It's been the easy pick all year. And then Tom Brady goes out and wins the stinking Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And it's like, wait a second. We've never been so sure about anything in our life. And now all of a sudden it didn't happen. Like, I mean, this is crazy, right? Well, the Philly, that almost feels like them to me right now. Is they almost feel like the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, I mean, it's written in history already that that Philly is going to beat the New York Giants. Like, duh, right? So easy. This is the division game. The Giants have been balling. I don't know what they got going on out there, but it's good. I mean, Daniel Jones, who was nothing for however long his career's been going, 2 years at least, is all of a sudden, you know, a hero out there. It's, you know, I mean, the Giants have got some things going on, and it's a division rival game, easy to get fired up about. I mean, you want to talk about the corkboard fodder, right? Things to get fired up and fire up the team about. I mean, there's a lot of material out there that the Giants have absolutely no chance. And so, yeah, the Philly is balling. They've been balling all year, but mind you, remember, Jalen Hurts is injured, right? Like, he is not 100%. Now, 80% Jalen Hurts this year still, I think, beats the Giants. It's a little bit close, though. And my guess is we're getting about an 80% Jalen Hurts. That's my guess. Now, all that being said, you know, I'm putting this all out there about, you know, how the Philly could get beat, and oh my gosh, look out. I'm still picking Philly. I mean, I'm still picking them until they show me otherwise. They haven't shown me otherwise, right? There is a question mark out there. There is vulnerability out there. There is a chance out there. This one is not as cut and dry as I think people think it is. Anyway, nonetheless, I'm taking Philly, and I believe we have Andrew and Dave. I know they both picked all the same. Yeah, they went Eagles as well. So yeah, so what's in there's Walbert with the Eagles as well. I can't blame you. You know, this week there's only one game that I'd be like, if I'm going to take a chance, it would be this one. I'm not saying it's this one. Anyway, well, I'll tell you when we get there. But, yeah. Anyway, Philly, I don't think is the game. So let's go Cincinnati, Buffalo. So there's so many things about this. Okay, the last time these two teams were out on the field was the Damar Hamlin incident. I mean, it's like now all of a sudden, now they're back at it, right? Like, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there might be some guys that have that get a little PTSD from their incident. From the incident when these guys meet up again. Sometimes you don't even realize it's there, and then a trigger happens, and it's like, oh my gosh, all this stuff comes back to you. There's a chance, some of these guys could have some sort of, reaction. I'm not saying that's going to affect the game, anything like that. I'm not trying to make a big deal out of something that's a huge deal, but now it causing them to have panic attacks is I'm kind of blowing it up a little bit there. Anyway, but the thing is, look, Buffalo right now they are on I just said it about, the Kansas City against Tampa Bay, right? It was a foregone conclusion that Kansas City was just going to win the Super Bowl that year. They were just automatic. It was just duh. And this year it's been Buffalo all year. And then you have the Damar Hamlin incident. And by the way, oh my gosh, now he's come back and he's been in the facility the whole time. Von Miller comes on the McAfee show every week. There was a 2-week period that he did not come on, and it was during the Damar Hamlin incident. Well, this week he came back on, and Damar was in the facility. Now, he never crossed the camera or whatever, but I mean, Vaughn was saying, yeah, there he goes. He's right there, So Damar is in the facility. I mean, he's still fragile, as you would expect, right? I mean, supposedly he's still, getting oxygen in the mornings and treatments, and I mean, duh, right? Like, I know they're being sensitive and not saying it, but brother, his heart stopped out there on the field. He died on the field, okay? They brought him back. His body has been through some stuff. He's got some recovering to do. So, but nonetheless, the dude is in the facility. He's around. He's in the meetings. I mean, can you imagine a better motivator? I mean, that story, it seems like destiny. It's almost going to be a not to tie a Super Bowl to this, and look, I'm not trying to cross streams that shouldn't be crossed, but it just, I don't know. It seems like destiny. It just seems like destiny, and Buffalo is still just rolling. So I'm picking Buffalo in this, and there Wally goes, man. He's going to take Cincy. Oh, wow. Okay, this wasn't the game. I was going to say this wasn't the game. It's actually the Cowboys-Niners game is the one that I would say, if I'm going to sway over the, against the grain, it would be on that one. But man, I tell you what, this has probably got the second best odds of going the other way, and that other way being Cincinnati. I mean, so again, we talked about it before. Buffalo has all season seemed like the team of destiny. They're going to win the Super Bowl. It was already written in the history books before the season started. Then you have the Damar Hamlin thing happen. It just seems more even destined to happen. And at this point, I honestly do hope it happens, just because it would be it will make for such an incredible movie someday. You know that, I mean, yeah. Anyway, I hope it happens. And honestly, I've been pulling for him from the beginning. You know, the Bills. I love Josh Allen. He's a country boy. He was from up in Wyoming. He was he was up there. You know, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, all those kind. Anyway, he's almost a Montana boy. I know that sounds stupid, but yeah, well, and Justin Herbert, if he didn't go to Oregon, he was actually on his way to Montana State. So there's no, my gosh, I'm going down rabbit holes tonight. Holy cow, let me get back on it here. Let's just get back to it. Bottom line, Buffalo should win this game. I do think they will win this game. That being said, Cincinnati's loaded. Joey Burrow is an absolute dog. And that boy can play, that boy can ball. He's Josh Allen-esque. I mean, those quarterbacks are both incredible. That should be a fun game to watch. That should just be an exciting game to watch. I hope it's as exciting as, just looking at even the two team names, it just goes, yeah, that's going to be awesome. I hope it's as awesome as it feels like it's going to be. So, but give me Buffalo. Wally is going to go against, wait a second. Oh no, that's Dave that showed up. Dave showed up. Hey, what's up, Dave? And Dave showed up and says, Bills, baby. The Bells. I'm trying to think of how Von Miller says. He says the Bales. Anyway, the Beals. That's what he says. The Beals. Oh man, I'm gonna sneeze. Woo, buddy. There we go. Anyway, welcome Dave. Oh gosh. Your dad just, as you can see in the comment section, just went above and beyond and picked the Bengals. I did not see that coming. But not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. If you're going to make if we want to put it into racing terms, if you're going to pick a corner to make a move on, it's not a bad corner to do it. I'd say the best corner would be the Dallas-San Francisco game. And let's move to it. The reason I say that is, now Brock Purdy, there's another story, right? Like, that could be a movie as well. This whole thing, it's just incredible. All these storylines that are out there and the possibilities and with Philadelphia, you got the Jalen Hurts story, this dude that wasn't, he was third rounder. The Giants, you got Danny Jones, Danny Dimes, who struggled for his first few years, and now all of a sudden is coming to his own. Kansas City is a dynasty. Jacksonville, you've got the old Trevor Lawrence story and the Doug Peterson and all that. Buffalo, you've got, this DeMar Hamlin thing we already talked about. Cincinnati, this, a small market team, honestly, and just their owners have gone all in and done things that they've never done before. Like, by the way, this is the first year they've ever had in Cincinnati, Ohio, an indoor facility. Their owners are finally saying, hey, you know what? This NFL thing, maybe we should put some money into it and see if we can make it go. And it appears to be working. So the Joey Burrow story and all that would be awesome. And then you got Dallas and San Francisco. With San Francisco, you've got the Brock Purdy story. How cool would that be? With Dallas, doesn't seem as cool of a story, but maybe, the whole Okay, they're finally getting back to their old form. They finally won one more for Jerry before he checked out. Sorry. But we know Jerry is, he doesn't have a lot of seasons left. Definitely not as many as he has seen. How about that? I'm trying to find a nice way of saying it. I feel like I'm just digging myself deeper and deep. So anyway, my goodness, Dallas, San Francisco, Brock Purdy is going to see a much more dynamic defense in Dallas right now. And that Dallas defense, Micah Parsons, and all the names you hear, all the names you don't hear. That Dallas defense could potentially have a heyday with Purdy. I hope he keeps balling. I'm picking San Francisco, as is like everybody else. I know Dave is picking San Francisco. Andrew's picking San Francisco. Wally's going to go out on a... Man, you are going for it all. Instead of kicking the extra point and tying and going to overtime, you're going for first place right now. Wally's saying, give them the Cowboys. Wow, gutsy call. But, like I said at the beginning, there was a game that I said is probably the one that I would pick. This is it. For it to go the opposite way, people are kind of thinking. It just seems so, the 49ers have just been so automatic, but let us not forget that we are on the third string quarterback now. He is doing awesome. Kyle Shanahan is an absolutely incredible mind, an incredible coach who really, has a knack for and is brilliant at designing not just the team, but the I don't know how to say it, the makeup of the team, the dynamics of the team around his players' strengths. And so even though Brock Purdy is Mr. Irrelevant, and whatnot, now I think the dude is totally talented. I think we've got a potential for another pick 199. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to say the name, but another big, I hope this is a big coming out party for Purdy and this launches his career. But anyway, but he still is, is there going to be a point where it breaks? Is there going to be a game where Purdy goes out and pulls, who was it? Who did it? It was Justin Lawrence who threw all the interceptions in the first half against the freaking Chargers. It was like, whoa, oh my gosh, eventually everybody has a game like that. Now, I hope it doesn't happen for Purdy, especially not right now. I love the run he's on. I hope they go all the way. I hope a lot of teams go all the way. But, if there's one that I'd pick opposite of the crowds, it would be Dallas. So that's not a bad pick there, Walbert. As long as the kicker can kick an extra point. Holy cow. That boy. But, kicking is such a fine art. It's written off as, we can get that anywhere. And it's you should make it 100% of the time. And if you don't, we'll just find another one of yous out there. We'll find another kicker. Kicking, comes down to like fractions of an inch between, of the point on your foot that has to hit the point on the ball and trajectories and all this. And then you factor in winds. And it is a tough thing to do. And it's extremely mental. It's like golf, and if all of a sudden you get the yips, as they say, and you get in your head, and I think that is classic. That is exactly what happened to him. I mean, it can just go downhill if that starts to happen, and we saw it. I mean, front and center. But the Cowboys move on nonetheless. And so he doesn't lose his job, and good for him. You don't want to see somebody go out like that because you know he would be getting cut right away if they had lost that game. Anyway, I'm picking San Francisco. Everybody except Walbert is picking San Francisco. Yeah, so so there you go. Anyway, so that is kind of our we've gone through it, boys. Now I do have one more thing out there that is and I'm trying to get the stinking mouse to work, but it is see I blabbed too long and now the mouse has, shut down and gone to sleep or whatever. So anyway, I created a segment, if you will, called Fun Fuchsia Football Facts. That will, I have, because of the music and whatnot we play on here, even though it's royalty free, I do have to put credits out there, and rightfully so. I mean, somebody made this music. It's good music. I like it. They should get credit for it. But I figured, hey, while I got to play those, I might as well throw something else out there. And so I came up with Fun Fuchsia Football Facts that will roll with our outro. So anyway, boys, it's been awesome. I enjoyed it. And hey, by the way, I'll be heading up there next week. So next Thursday. Now we're late right now. We were supposed to do the show yesterday, but next week this time I'll be there. And that'll be awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys. Might do a show Wednesday before we leave. Who knows? We'll talk about it. We're on the text thread. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I've had fun. I hope you had fun. Stick around for Fun Fuchsia Football Facts. I love you guys. Be well. And hey, we'll see you next week.